Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today we'd like to talk about introduction to education research. If we talk about research, it refers to the ways of knowing, the way of knowing something. And to know something, there are ways that you can get or you can do. The first by having experience or experiencing. If you go to the Jakarta, then you get knowledge about Jakarta. That's the way you experience something. You eat certain types of food, and then you will know this is knowledge about certain type of food. The second one is about the way to know is asking the authority, the one who have an authority to that knowledge. If you would like to know about the medical thing, then you go to the authoritative person, that's doctor. You go to the doctor. If you like to construct a house, then you go to the architecture, because this is the person who know how to construct a house. So ask to the authority. And the last one is about the thinking. You think, you make kind of reasoning. It can be also a source of knowledge, a source of knowledge. You think and then you get knowledge, thinking or reasoning. And in reasoning, I think there are two types: deductive, inductive, and deductive reasoning. The inductive reasoning, you try to think from specific to general. Let's say here, you first make specific observation, recognizing pattern, and making general conclusion. For instance, first you make a specific observation. You go to school, elementary school, and then you see elementary school A, go B, C, and D, for instance, all wear white and red uniform. Make specific, this one, the school, that school. And then after that, you try to recognize the pattern. Or every school, every elementary school that I have seen wear uniform red and white. And then the last one, you generalize, you make conclusion. All elementary school must wear white and red uniform. This is the way how to make an inductive reasoning. Then the next one is deductive reasoning. Deductive reasoning start from the general to specific. It start from theoretical thing, from the general one. Let's say, for instance, here, if you often go somewhere using a plane or aeroplane, there are some general rule. Flights are rescheduled when weather conditions are extremely bad, or something like that. This kind of rule, this general ideas, then you know that people know. And then you try to have a look this time. The weather conditions at present are extremely bad. Then from this one, you make conclusion. The flight must be rescheduled. And this is a deductive reasoning from the general one to the specific for this time, the condition. And those kind of knowing in research must be scientific. So there is ways of knowing in scientific world. In scientific world, people must use a scientific method. Now we have to know. We should know what is scientific method. According to Mill and Guys, 2019, scientific method is a systematic procedure consisting of the following steps: identifying and defining research or problem, formulating hypothesis, collecting data, analyzing data, and concluding the result, whether confirm or reject the hypothesis. So this one, the definition of scientific method. What is educational research? If you like to talk about education research, then you have to know what is education research. We have to be in the same pace, in the same understanding. Education research is the formal and scientific application of scientific method, the one we talked about just now, to the study of educational problem. So it will refer to the specific area of education. So using scientific method for educational problem. This is the educational research. The step in doing educational research. First, you will identify the educational problem. After that, you conduct literature study. After conducting the literature study, then you choose sample or participant. When you choose sample and participant, and from that one, then you will accomplish of data gathering, or you gather the data. After you gather the data, you make analysis, and after you make an analysis, you have the result. And this one, the start of doing scientific method, scientific research in education, for educational problem. Though this is a robust way, people says that this is robust, but educational research or scientific method still have some limitation. The first limitation is about scientific method cannot resolve all educational research problem. So, not all. Using this one, we cannot solve all the problem. The second one, when scientific method is used, it is impossible to get the full picture of the participant or place being studied, for sure. Because as you make a research, you should use samples not the whole thing, this is a sample. So you cannot have a full picture, really full. This is the weakness. The third weakness is about the data collection instrument. It must have a degree of error. How? Although we sometimes in educational research, for instance, the degree of error is different from the scientific, from the field of engineering or field of medical. Maybe the degree of error we use may be bigger, and then the medical field usually have degree of error. Try to be the versus the least one, the very least one, the lowest one degree of error. But for sure, still there's a degree of error. This is the scientific method, still consists of degree of error. And the last one, for sure, when you make a data gathering, because there's an ethic, if you cannot force everyone to be the participant. Says for instance, the person do not want to participate, but this person has a very contributive, important information, and because they don't participate in your research, then for sure, it cannot take the whole picture, because this person is supposed to be included in the research because of to the condition of ethics, then this cannot be included. So this is the limitation of the scientific method. Then when we talk about the types of educational research, we can have two approaches. The first one is quantitative approach, and the quantitative approach usually have several design, like survey research, correlational research, casual and comparative research, and then experimental research. This can be included into a quantitative research in education field. And then in terms of qualitative, let's say for instance you like to take a design. The design can be first a narrative research, and then ethnographic research, and maybe case study. And there are still many other types of the research. So this is the thing that we have to discuss. We have to discuss the introduction to education research. Thank you for your kind attention, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.